Hey everyone, welcome to the UFO Hub live stream. And I'm back. I know it's been at least 2 weeks, but today is open lines and I'm hoping to talk to some of you today. So let me cover a few things. I got a list going. I wanted to cover quite a bit and don't want to forget about it. So first things first, welcome back. Good to see some of you, or vice versa. But if you would like to chat with me, please download the Telegram app on your phone or on your computer and simply find the UFO Hub group. The link is also in the description below, but whichever video you happen to watch. And you can just join the group, join the chat, and you'll be able to directly talk to me. So also tonight, looks like we're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, all three platforms. I know that was one of the things that I was working on for the past 2 weeks. As some of you know, my daughter Adeline was born about 2 weeks ago, so that was my main focus and precedence. After that, when she kind of got her own little rhythm, I figured I could maybe work on these things. Also, moving on in the future, I know I've had some issues while I was testing. My system kept crashing. It seems like that the problem was resolved. I was trying to make it so that whenever I have a guest on Skype, you can directly talk to them over Telegram and hear the answer back. So that way I can also read the questions off from the different chats that are coming in, or you can directly speak to the person if you like. So I wanted to just have that ability, have that option in there, and thankfully, knock on wood, it looked like it worked out. So all right, got that covered. Let's yeah, also wanted to make sure to thank my brother and my sister-in-law. Without them, I don't know that I would have been able to do this, because they graciously were on Skype, acting as a guest for me for several hours, maybe, you know, at a time, 2 to 3 hours. Sometimes we cut it shorter, but they were there to help me test. And my wife was on Telegram, kind of acting like, you know, as a person watching or wanting to ask a question, while I was basically going through all the issues and crashes and whatever else I needed to work out. So I want to thank them both and thank my wife as well. We kept hearing the baby in the background, but it didn't matter. It was just for testing purposes. So I hope everything else goes fine for the rest of the stream. If something happens and you know, I go offline, of course I'll try to come back. So the other things that I wanted to cover is basically where's the report. I know we've been kind of talking about it, or some people in chat have been mentioning it, that it's coming. It was supposed to be June 1st, but then it was delayed, and I don't know where they are right now. So there was an interesting video that was recorded from the Pentagon. I will show you this in a bit, regarding the very interesting question this person asked. And then there's been, I guess it's old news for you guys now, which is the UFO that kind of was hovering above the water and then disappeared into the water, and the Navy went out to try to find it and couldn't. That was also published on Jeremy Corbell's website. So let me go over here. And I want to play that to you. So I understand this is old news for some of you, but those that haven't seen it yet, it'll be a chance for you guys to see it. And so this was the footage that it seems to be a recording of a screen wherever this was initially recorded from and then sent to Jeremy, I would assume. But yeah, here's the video.
Took off, booking it.
Yeah.
Frank, Omaha, pick me kid, Rocco Peralta, passability to launch Hilo ASAP.
Splash to get bearing range.
Sure. Got 2 minutes, 30 knots.
Keep going, bro.
Let's go down. We're making 10, so we can probably bring down 35 relative. Sir.
Yeah, I'll bring it down.
We got a lot of white water out there, some 6-foot swells.
Whoa, it's getting close.
Yeah, we have 31 knots sustained wind, topside, gust of 40.
Whoa, splashed. Splashed. Mark bearing and range.
Okay, so there was that, came out a while back. So the background says this footage was filmed in the CIC Combat Information Center of the USS Omaha on July 15, 2019 in a warning area of San Diego. This footage depicts a UAP event series that reached a crescendo with one of the unknown targets entering the water. No wreckage found. None of the unknown craft were recovered. So that's a little background info. So I want to talk about this too later on, but I wanted to show you that for now. And then of course, this was I apologize, I don't have the dates. I was trying to set up a whole bunch of stuff, but this was not that long ago. You can easily look it up, and this was a recording during the press briefing at the Pentagon, and I'll talk a little bit about it after I show you this video. Jeff,
Show.
Hey, John, happy birthday. There's no way that I can like sugarcoat this. I was talking to a gentleman about the UAP report, and he contends the Pentagon has alien bodies and crafts. So I just wanted to run this past you. Does DoD have these things, and if so, where?
Jeff, the UAP task force is really designed to take a look at these unexplained aerial phenomena, try to help us get a better understanding of them. Again, I'm not going to get ahead of the report that the DNI will submit, that we are helping, obviously, and providing input to, and I think I'll just leave it at that, Jeff. Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that was interesting. Of course, in the past, the government has always played these games about, no comment or, they're no threat or whatever. This could be nothing. This could just be them not wanting to get ahead of this report, and even the report itself. It could just be maybe some more studies that were done and things that they were researching and whatnot. So, I don't know how excited to get for some of those out there, and how, or not. But the point here is that at the end of the day, it's all this stuff is for basically everyone that that really was kind of sitting in the back seat and was not really that much into UFOs, to have footage come out and see pictures and whatnot. Those have always been into UFOs. We've seen that for decades, and it's really nothing new. It's this constant, cat and mouse game between, the people and the government about who knows what are you going to admit, what are you holding back. And so for those that are just now getting into it, having kind of like, pardon my French, I'm not trying to be facetious, but like this like waiting for daddy to give the approval about, hey, only now can you, once I admit that UFOs are real, can you also seriously start looking into this. I was never really a fan of it, and most of us that have been in this field are not a fan of it either. It's like we just started doing our own research and going about our own business and discovering what we discovered. So we really, even to this day, don't need necessarily the government, but for our brothers, sisters, close friends, everyone else that we've always been friends with, that they've always known what we're into, but they necessarily didn't always want to join. This would be kind of for them as a beginning to start looking into it. Because the other things that I wanted to cover regarding this, it's I don't know how the government is going to play this out. At first, it started out in a oh, that's cool, finally, Pentagon admitted something. But then it didn't really disappear from the public eye. It continued. And so I was just kind of watching. I was like, where are they going with this? Because when you open up the Pandora's box, there's all these other things that you're going to have to consider. How does now the abduction phenomena play into this? And then you start looking into that. Okay, well, that's great. How does, let's say, the hybrid, program, play into this? And all these different things that now are going to have to be looked at, because you can't just overnight call millions of people crazy that have had those experiences. It's something that I believe they're going to have to start releasing slowly. Now, I still think we're pretty much on track, like I've said a while back, to be about 5 years of this, so maybe to 2025 of just lights in the sky. And, we had, teams sent here, they checked it out and did this recording. So more of, cool footage to look at. But I think after that kind of settles in, for then more to start coming out, because I would be pleasantly surprised if they just really got to the point to where most of us are here now, is to just initiating this contact. But, I don't know how freaked out most people would be, because it's brand new to them. And then they're going to have to start considering, all these other things too, because, it's going to put a lot of people's beliefs and also religious beliefs and other belief systems into, into this, questioning mode, because it's not as simple as, hi, I want to shake your hand and nice to meet you. What planet are you from? That type of scenario. It's more about, we're going to be learning more about who we are, what this life is about. And I don't quite know that everyone would be ready for it. Now, of course, we were kind of shaken, by this, pandemic or whatever, to maybe kind of start changing our behaviors about certain things, but I don't know how far, and so with that kind of being the catalyst for a lot of soul searching, a lot of reflection, maybe we can be more accepting of whatever they might come out with. And so I'm really hoping that the report would, give enough credence and not, give the same old answers, to where now it would be just the first report of many, and then so for it to start slowly growing and basically becoming more and more prevalent, to where, now, shows like this and other shows are not just going to be, these weird obscure shows, but it will be covered more in a serious manner. Although I've always covered in a serious manner, for me to talk about the subjects that I've talked about, to the quote unquote normies, are just batshit crazy. And I understand that. But just because you don't understand what I'm talking about doesn't mean I'm crazy, and so, but we're here, and as you guys know, I'm not the only one, and UFO Hub has interviewed, many other people, the researchers, experiencers, that I would urge you to go and listen to their stories and hear them out, see from their perspective what they found. And so if you're in the beginning of this would be, I would think, a great library for you to really start diving into more behind the nuts and bolts, or beyond the nuts and bolts, or the video footage that you can see. And I'm hoping that you have to realize that what I have so far covered in all the videos from 7 years ago up until now, you literally have everything that you would need to really have a pretty good understanding about the UFOs. Before then, you can feel comfortable enough to move forward on your own, to just kind of be educated enough and understand many different perspectives and many different experiences before you can kind of try to act on your own to say, okay, I want to know more. And so I don't know, but that where the government is going to be at that time, because a lot of us were kind of moved on while the government stayed in the 1950s mode. And so now they're trying to skip from 1950s, all the way, till now, in overnight seemingly. But wherever it goes, I hope that they don't shut it down, that they reveal more and more. To most of us, it's not going to be surprising. It'll be cool that finally we can talk about it. And so there would be all the different resources that were always existing. Others can start looking at them and start learning from them, because we don't have to reinvent the wheel. I've noticed, I found myself being a little bit, how should I say, maybe just a little bit cynical, because when I was watching some of the different clips, I don't watch mainstream news, but with the different apps that I have, they show certain 5-6 minute clips of different news that has, let's say, whatever, some of the pilots on the show and talking about whatever they're talking about. And it just irked me a little bit in the very beginning about, it's like, we're way past this. There's so much out there if you simply just are willing to look into it. But then I just had to immediately stop myself and realize we as a planet, we have to start somewhere, and even though we're not all on the same level, I just, understood then, and still, feel like it's okay. We all gotta, have to start somewhere. So look at whatever information you might come across, whether it's my channel, whether it's some of the other researchers you watch and follow, and just help guide those that finally go, hey, what's up with these UFOs, that wouldn't give it the time of day before. So anyway, and before I go and check to see, how chat is doing and seeing if there's anyone in Telegram that would like to chat and share a story, I wanted to cover just one aspect. I wish it was something that I would have thought of myself, but something I heard about a long time ago. It's been at least 10 years, and I don't necessarily hear it talked about very much, and that's in reference to contact, and the different abduction scenarios and DNA. Now, I'm not, well versed in trying to understand DNA and biology in that sense, but everyone has a basic understanding that compatibility is a huge factor in this. And that's something to maybe ponder about when you think about these different abduction scenarios and hybridization programs, that if they were not that compatible to us, they wouldn't be able to do what they do. So just ponder about that for a second. It's like if they're that alien to us, why would, how is it that they're having, basically the ability to create these different hybrids? Because you have to be compatible on some level. And I don't know if forgive me if I've mentioned it before, there was something brought up to me by Bashar. And that kind of startled me, and I've always thought about it on and off. The bottom line is supposed to say that there is a relation between them and us. And the story that eventually he ended up telling is that basically they are us from a different dimension. So there we go with the crazy stuff again. Science already knows that there's different dimensions, but they only know it in theory and that it's plausible, but they're not quite there yet to have entire beings cross dimensions and, saying hello. But anyway, in time, maybe 10, 15 years, maybe 20 or more, we'll basically know more, and our science will finally catch up to the point to where we can make a little bit more progress. So anyway, let me see what we got going on here with the chat. And okay, I have right now in voice chat only have Bradley, and I don't know if Bradley wants to speak to me, so he knows to raise his hand if he does, and I'll get back to him later. And let's see here. I'm having my entire new system. I'm trying to figure out exactly how to get back to nothing intelligent to say tonight. All right. Oh, wow. Okay. So let me see here. I have this restream that basically is supposed to show me some chat messages, and there's a ton more on YouTube than it is having them here coming through. Okay, what we got? Oh, there's a thank you for, I'm sorry I can't pronounce this at all. It seems to be like Russian, and I can't read it, but thank you very much for your $10 donation. It says at the time, which was yesterday, I was visiting my family in San Diego, California at around 8 p.m. Pacific time. I heard a sound like a car, and then the house shook. Any leads? I've seen UFOs here. Well, it's interesting. I mean, sometimes, there are seismic activities. I don't want to just easily just explain it away, but it's difficult to tell. It's it's something that I would just urge you to see if you can do some research, see if others experienced the same thing, felt the same thing, and maybe you might be able to come across some answers. But yeah, so Peter, welcome. Bradley, also welcome. Isa, Peacekeeper, hello, how are you? David Hicks, thank you very much for your donation. I really appreciate it. David says, ever seen the curse of the man who sees UFOs? Lots of uncut footage of glowing lights, UAP in Monterey, California. Sorry, I suck at reading today. It would take me a bit to get used to. No, I have not. I have not seen it. Is it The Curse of the Man Who Sees UFOs? Is that the title of the documentary or the film? Hazel, hello, welcome. V, also welcome. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. I was trying to figure out how I can have my other screen update more often. But anyway, so yeah, if some of you want to join me, please remember check out Telegram in your either app store if you're using a phone, or if you're using the iPhone, or the Google Play if you're on Android, and or just go to the website for Telegram on your computer, download it, join the UFO Hub group, and join the voice chat, and you'll be able to chat with me. Let's see. But yeah, it's been 2 weeks. It seems like it's been quite a bit, because it seemed like forever. There were so many things that were happening that it just seemed like a month instead of just 2 weeks. But I guess it'll take me just a little bit. It'll take me just a little bit to get used to looking at many different things at once, because I was usually by the time I stopped, I got pretty much well versed in trying to multitask it, but it just seems like right now it's gonna take me a while. All right, let's see who else we got here. If any of you have any questions, just make sure to please include the 3 stars before your question, so that way I know it pops out at me and it'll be a lot easier for me to read it. So Hazel says, hello everyone. Adnan, how's it going? Just fine. Maybe I hope you caught the beginning. I gave you guys just a little recap. Yeah, so Hazel was just asking about is there any news come out after the 180 days, or are they stalling? Yeah, they're stalling, and unless I'm mistaken and it actually dropped today that I wasn't aware of, or or it will be sometime in the future. But based on the the footage that I showed you earlier regarding I don't know his name, the Pentagon person that was speaking. I don't know. I hope he's hesitant, because there is something to the statement made by the reporter regarding UFO wreckage and bodies, or he just maybe doesn't want to jump the gun and wants to wait to once the report comes out to just not say more than necessary. And so Um, so yeah, we'll see. I don't know what what the issue was. Like there were after the first, they were saying any time now it should be coming out, but right now we're in June on June 6th and or no June 9th, and there's still nothing coming out. So I don't know. We'll see. So Hazel, you didn't miss much. The second something comes out, I might even do a separate show and just have it covered to basically just talk about it to see what I was able to read up on, in case some of you haven't had the chance or usually don't spend the time to do that. And so I was thinking about very much doing that the second they come out with that. The 5D raver. Hi, yes, the daughter has arrived. I have a under the community tab on the channel. I did post like a short gif about her just being maybe 3 hours old, and so you can see the pictures there. But yeah, she's here. It was my wife keeps telling me not to say it in this way, but every time I see her, it's like I hug her. It's like, she's my favorite. She's like, you're not supposed to have favorites. I'm like, sorry, I already do. Vincent says, which guest that you have interviewed has had the most profound effect on you? So one, while I have my browser open, let's see. I want to see if I can get to. There you go. I didn't expect that, so I'm going to open up my main channel and then go on to videos. So right now I'm on the channel here. Let's see if I can maybe go all the way down. There's what happened to, when I turned 25, with all these different experiences by that time that I had already had, all the good stuff wasn't happening for me until later. But this gal right here says past life readings and regressions. That one was pretty interesting because that was, although I've known about it, that was kind of me stepping out the UFO closet. And she was a gal that was local to St. Louis, and she can either put you under and have you regressed, or she basically kind of taps into the Akashic record and she does it, for you, to where she gives you different information. So because I already knew quite a bit about it, I didn't want to taint the experience and, have just my imagination flow. So I just had her basically do reading, for me. And what she went through, I still have that. She actually was recording on cassette tapes, although it wasn't that long ago. But yeah, I have the cassette tapes still, and she basically was covering the different past lifetimes that kind of come together to basically to work out what was happening in this one. And so that was my sort of first coming out the UFO closet, but actually genuinely, seriously talking to another person about this. Because before it was always, friends and family, and we won't ever cover any of those subjects or talk about those things. But this was seriously sitting down and paying somebody to say, okay, I want to, hear what you have to say. And which was really interesting, because I went in it with the skeptical mind, so I didn't want to say too much. I just wanted to just kind of have her tell me whatever she needed to tell me. It was interesting that, let's say, the different lives that she was telling me about that then came together to kind of be worked out in this lifetime and to do what I'm here to do. Let's say all of that was made up. The information that she was basically telling me, the information she was telling me that was very pertinent and very personal. That of what I'm supposed to kind of do. In this life. So she would, so just to give you an example, so I'm not just kind of dancing around the bush here. So one of the example was, one of the past lifetimes was that I was one of the, I guess one of the soldiers with Genghis Khan, right? I have no way of knowing that or proving that. I don't have any recollection of this. But what was interesting is that, okay, that sounds cool. But then whatever information she was getting, what came out from that is that she said that I should do something with some form of martial arts, because it would help me, just health wise and just mentally, and all these things that, some people, they love to play basketball or some other sport. For me specifically would be martial arts. Well, one thing I knew that she was spot on, because from from age of 8 all the way up until we left Germany, which was 2014. No, not 14. I was 14, but left Germany. I'm getting all my dates confused. Since I was 8 till I was 14, I did a martial arts, Shotokan karate, and then I continued when we came to the United States. What she was saying is very much true, because for one, I never told her that I was into that, and two, exactly what she describes is what that I know to be true, because I was going through that. And I just understood that she was correct in advising me to do this, because it would be beneficial to me on so many other levels. Then she covered many other things to go into many different aspects of what else would be beneficial for me. But that's like an hour and a half to 2 hour long thing to go into. But I just wanted to give you an example. So anyway, in a roundabout long way, to me, because she was the first person that I had kind of talked to, and really just, coming out and seeing, like, okay, it was kind of embarrassing too, because this was a weird conversation to be had, because when you first come out this UFO closet, it's like, oh God, like I'm sitting here, I'm talking about past life regressions. I've never experienced or have a memory of any past lives, and here I am talking to her dead serious about what it is that she has to tell me, and I'm responding to it. And so that video or that interview out of all of them really had the most profound effect on me. Then after that, once you kind of, like David Icke always says, once you step out of the little box that you lived in, do you realize how small the box really is? And I never really looked back again. I just continued doing what I do, and then eventually had the experiences that I did, and so never looked back. All right, that was a long roundabout way to get. This other question is from Kenny Moreno. Says, how can I get in contact with you in order to share experience with unidentified entities that I have encountered with over here in San Antonio, Texas? They are here. Kenny, I don't know if you heard earlier, you can right now, if you like, you can download the Telegram app, and basically sign up, join the UFO Hub group, and you'll see the voice chat, and you will be able to chat with me. Okay, I have Jim James waiting. I'm sorry about that. Let me see. Let me shift over here to voice chat. Jim, you should be able to unmute yourself and say what you wanted to say.
Hello, my friend. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
Very good. I'm actually okay. How are you?
Oh, just fine. First time back to work, even though I've been working for the past 2 weeks, but I'll get the hang of it.
Yeah, you have. And you've put a lot of work into this channel and the way it's grown over countless months. The point I was actually wanting to get across to the last person that you were speaking with about how to get in contact with the entities above, so to speak, it actually all really derives from what comes within yourself. What I mean is that there is like you can meditate and ask for these entities to show themselves to you, but 9 times out of 10 you don't want that to happen, because sure, you can see them, sure, they will show themselves to you and they will do their things, but then at the end of the day, how can you say to someone, I saw a UFO, I saw aliens, for example, and how do you expect anyone to take you seriously?
Well, Jim, that's a good question. Well, the decision that eventually I had to make is, do I do what I do because I want to convince everyone else, or is this viable enough in my life to go down this path and just learn about it, regardless of the recognition that I might get? And that was the decision I had to make, back then. And so,
And you don't have a bullet in your head.
what do you mean?
Many other people do.
Well, I mean, I never understood why it would have to be, because if this is a crazy subject, which a lot of people have labeled, then, I figured everyone
don't
else would
believe
just
it
look
is.
at me. But no, I understand. But if it's always labeled as crazy by, let's say, mainstream and the government or the powers to be, then it's just
Yes,
a crazy
sir.
person talking. And so why would you want to harm a crazy person? Just let him be crazy. That's the way I always thought that, they'll just, not bother me.
Right. And how long have you been doing this? If you don't mind me asking, I'm just going off subject here.
Well, no, I mean, the channel itself, I've had since
No, yourself.
2014.
Yourself. Like, when
Right.
did you yourself become interested in the subject?
Oh,
What motivated you to
right,
actually start speaking about it?
right. Well, it's a I just make it short. It was actually an experience that I had when I was 11. Basically, what I wouldn't call it remote viewing, but it was something that we lived in Germany at that time, and it was just something I always so weird to say, but during that period, like I always loved to go to bed, and every time I would lay down, I would just close my eyelids, but I would always see this white tentacles in this shape of something, and I would open my eyes and I was trying to figure out how is this possible, but then after a while I just gave up trying to figure it out and just just let it dance, basically do whatever it did in this void. But each night it would always come closer and closer and closer to where eventually it just kind of took over my entire vision, if you can call it that, even though I had my eyes closed. And it just basically, I found myself to be in this very humid environment, very forest-like, like a jungle. And so everything was, although I could perceive it was very warm, very humid. Things were blurry. I could make up shapes, but it was basically these beings around this table looking at someone. Still to this day, I don't know if it was me or somebody else, but it was too blurry initially. So I was just kind of being a fly there, hovering around this environment. And trying to focus more to see what is going on. And at one point I was, it's been going on for a while, trying to focus. And I just got so frustrated. And I just put all my will behind it. And I focused on, to see who is it there that's laying there. And the second I did, the entire environment just became clear, It wasn't blurry anymore. It became clear. And it was basically more like I still don't know if it was just kind of an image that was just betrayed to me of what was actually happening, but it was basically I couldn't tell if it was me, but it was a being laying on this stone altar with these 7 or more little hooded beings, and one of them turned real fast. The second I focused, it turned real fast in my direction, and it had a very frog-like face. and it just kind of in this weird way, well, not weird, but like, how shorter people run, and it just kind of hopped towards me and
Yes,
then
sir.
hit me in my, what I know now to be the third eye, with seemingly this king scepter. And when it did that, I just kind of got up from my bed. It didn't feel like I was asleep or anything, just basically shifted from there to my room again. And from
Yeah,
that
and you woke up.
experience, right. And so from that experience, I kept, basically not looking back. If this was something that
Do
I
you
just
have a
kept
book
researching more and more.
available by any chance? I apologize for interrupting. Do you have a book by any chance?
A book of what?
Your experiences, I'm sure you would have scribed them
Oh,
down and
no, actually, I didn't, but I do on the channel. I don't know if it's going to cover enough, because there's different opportunities that I had a chance to speak, and so I go at the length at different experiences that I had, because there's many others
yes.
that came years later, and it's under, if you go to the UFO Hub channel, under the
Yes.
playlist, you're going to see I forgot what it was called. There's a playlist and it's just called Talks, and you should be able to see all the
Right.
talks that I had given.
Yes.
So I don't know if
Yes.
that might help.
And thank you so very much for asking my questions, but I honestly just have one final one.
Sure.
Since your experiences, you have never actually witnessed or bore witness to a UAP.
Well,
Yes or no?
right. No, yeah, I have, which was in 2011. But that I'll tell that story also in the talks if you get a chance to look it over. I just don't want to get into a full lifelong story, because I feel like I always repeat my own story on the channel. But just for
Welcome
time's
to the
sake,
club. Welcome to the club.
right?
Why do you
Right.
think I'm calling?
I'm sorry.
Why do you think I'm calling? Welcome to the club. Of course, we've got to repeat it over and over and over
Oh,
again.
right,
Of
right,
course, it seems like a broken record, but
right.
at the end of the day, it's not a broken record, because hundreds of thousands of people out there potentially could be listening to this
Right.
podcast, and potentially they could learn something from this podcast. So even though we have to go over it again and again and again and again, that's our duty, because we're going out there to speak our
Right.
mind.
Well, I mean,
and
that's why I
our
always mention
experiences.
it's there in the recorded, because at these at the talks, it gave me a chance to kind of put my thoughts together and focus on those. And so basically, it would be a lot easier for them to look over and listen to that, instead of me unpreparedly trying to reiterate everything again. That's why I always just say
Okay.
to check out the playlist.
No worries, no worries. Well, again, I hope you do take care with the entire climate and the way the world is. And thank you for
Well, I
taking my
mean, you don't
questions.
have to go quite yet. I was wondering, would you be interested maybe sharing some
Hmm?
of your stories?
Well, yeah, of course, definitely.
Okay. Well,
Would
please do. I
you
mean,
like to know
right
about
now,
UAP or dreams or entities or what? What exactly are you looking for?
well, whatever it is more prevalent to you,
You
honestly,
got to start
because,
with a question. You got to start with a question. You can't ask.
well,
You can't. You obviously can't just tell someone, "Tell me what you know," and then
right. No, I didn't.
leave it at that.
I mean, like what you feel more. But if you need something, then of course,
Oh,
maybe
oh,
for the
oh.
sake of everyone else listening, why not with
Well, given the
UAPs, as
entire
you call them?
climate, I think this is. I honestly think, given the entire climate, this is just a complete distraction. It's a complete distraction from the
In the media,
child trafficking um, that was unleashed before COVID-19 came about. You
right?
know, the whole Jeffrey Epstein and his little compatriots, and how everyone in the West here, all your celebrities, all of your movie stars, all of your princes in the United Kingdom are all pedophiles. And yet, as soon as that news dropped, now we're talking about COVID-19, and all of a sudden, now we're talking about UFOs. What a grand distraction. We've been talking about UFOs since the 1910s,
Yeah.
and yet we're just labeled as conspiracy theorists by the CIA. by the 1960s, I think it is, probably mid-50s. But yeah, either way, it's just another form of distraction
Right. No,
to
I,
take you
you know,
away from,
right.
what is actually going on. Whether or not these beings or these artificial aircraft are ours or not, obviously they're not ours. They're not
Do you
ours.
do you think they're only going to go as far as, as necessary to just not reveal too much, but enough to just hide, um, to hide that part?
It's like I said. It's like I said to a friend of mine when Trump left office last year.
Mhm.
He left an executive order for Congress to release all information about UAPs or UFOs, formerly, by June of 2021. And what I've said to my friend all this time since then: redacted, redacted, redacted. So whatever gets put forward in this next little coming together of Congress about they're going to talk about UAPs, no, it's going to be redacted, redacted, redacted. You know why?
Mm,
Because that's where the mystery is, and it's something to keep you guessing, and you're not going to figure out why the hell Jezebel Maxwell is still in prison. And
right.
I think Maxwell, she's on her sixth appeal for getting getting bail. Her sixth appeal for getting bail. And this is the woman who was Jeffrey Epstein's pimp.
Right. That's
So
unfortunate if that's the case, that they're going to then use the aspect of UFOs and the curiosity to distract everybody, because it deserves its own due attention on its own without being used as a cover up in some way.
it
But that
doesn't
would
need
be
to be a
that would
cover
be a
up. It
shame. Yeah,
is
that
what
would be
it
a shame.
is. It is
Yeah.
what it is. It is what it is. It doesn't need to be. You have to remember timeline. The timeline of when this information first came out, and then the distraction being COVID-19, and then the second distraction to make everyone think of something totally different other than COVID-19, UFOs. Now, they're not UFOs anymore, but funnily enough, the CIA and everyone in the normal sense called us conspiracy theorists
Right.
about believing in UFOs. Of course they're here. Of course they're all around. Where are they from? God only knows. The government doesn't even know, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And I mean the US government. The US government doesn't know where they're from, as far as I am concerned.
Do you
But
think they're going to keep it that general? Just kind of like just admit do you think they'll keep it that general, that they'll admit just enough to keep us guessing and just keep that going for years?
redacted. When it comes to the public light, what is it? It's a protocol by what is it? The Samsung protocol, I think it is Samsung, which is basically there are like, it's basically in the sense of before you know the truth, the whole world will go bang first. It's called the Samsung option. I'm sure your viewers can look it up in the meantime. But yeah, before the whole world knows about it, like, we've got to be on a higher vibrational frequency before we can at least comprehend what the hell's going on here. Because you have to remember, everything is interconnected. Every fucking thing.
Right.
Everything is goddamn connected. When it comes to the draconian Prince Charles, as he likes to so proclaim himself to be the descendant of Count Vlad of Dracula, the House of Draco, which he does, and that's a fact. They all believe in bloodlines. Who controls most of the Manx? Rothschilds, and they are also a little bit messed up in the head when it comes to bloodlines. And when it came to I'm backtracking here again. When it came to the whole Epstein international child sexual exploitation, all of that was quickly thrown under the rug for COVID-19. And that's a fact. And now everyone's talking about UAPs. UAPs have been going on for the past 100 years. Even more so if you look into ancient history paintings.
Right.
There are paintings depicting UFOs. Paintings by the
Well, to
smartest
me,
people
yeah. If I could just
in
add this real
history.
quick, and I hope I don't mean to offend you, but to me, the whole rearrangement or reclassification to UPs, it's like calling a turd by a different name. At the end of the day, it's still going to be a turd. It's like it's to me, it seems like they hit a wall
Yeah,
with with
yeah.
however far they could go with quote unquote science. So they're like, hey, let's rearrange it to call it something different. I mean, you can call it a WMS, and waste management system. At the end of the day, it's still a turd, and so it just seems like a
You can call a
limited,
Turk a Turk.
right?
You can call a Turk a Turk.
Yeah,
But I mean, at
limit,
the end of the day, what does it matter for the individual? Because
right? No,
more and more, we're finding out that these entities and these vehicles are not coming here for the masses. They're coming here for the individual.
right,
And what the hell does that mean for the individual? Because it's the individual who experiences it. And then everyone else has to have an outside perspective
right,
and look into that story. And what the hell does that mean for the individual itself? And this is a question that I don't think many people are asking. Instead of asking, okay, why are they here to begin with? Why are they targeting individuals in these individual places? For example, in Australia, there was a ranch owner. There was a UFO, by definition, that flew over his water tanks. Like, I don't know why he had water tanks on his ranch, but you're in the middle of Australia, you're not going to have much water, but he had this entire tank filled with water. Anyway, it's a true situation in which he actually went outside one night because he heard this god awful yell from a cow or two. And when he looked up to see this bright light above his water tower, he shot at it. Didn't do anything. But then bright light shone in his face and he was just out for the count. But the fact of the matter is, my friend, is that they are here to visit individuals. And why the hell are they doing that? Like, when it comes to the US Nimitz encounter, forget about that. Forget about that. But for decades upon decades upon decades, they have been visiting individuals. Why?
right. Well, I have my own theory on that, but we can get into that some other time too. Jim, can I ask you a
No, go
question
ahead.
that came in from Hazel? Hazel was asking, can you ask Jim, please, has he had a one-on-one? Has he had a one-on-one with an ET?
No comment.
Would you like to maybe share some of the other experiences that of any kind of sightings?
Yeah, sightings definitely. Pulsating orbs in the sky, obviously satellites and aircraft. Aircraft by themselves go by blinking lights, obviously. But when you're looking up at the sky, aircraft don't pulse. They don't
Right.
pulsate with light. There were 3 different occasions, each different colors, and these were singular orbs that were pulsating as they were traveling across the sky. There was another, which was quite significant, but I won't get into, of fear of the Men in Black. To be honest with you, I don't know whether or not that's just schizophrenia. I've never been diagnosed with schizophrenia, but I do believe in the Men in Black. So I won't speak about the closest encounter that I've had. However, the other encounters that I've had have not been direct to other entities other than in my peripheral vision. Aside from that, IRL in real life, it's been orbs in the sky that have pulsated, and there was one occasion in which I was looking at the window as I do at nighttime, because I'm usually up at night, you see, and this night it was particularly clear, and I saw a formation of two stars, just two stars, and I thought to myself, that's very strange. I've never seen that there before. So then I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna go take a quick video recording of this. Went to go pick up my phone, and then I checked the window again. Two stars, two disappeared, slowly faded into the night sky. Two. One, okay, I can get. Two, that's a little bit funny. When I initially thought, I'm going to pick up this phone, I'm going to hit record, and then they both disappear before I could even go get my phone.
Right. That always seems to be the case. I know it's well, it's not unfortunate now. I'm hoping that more and more people are more aware and they'll be able to capture more of that stuff that everyone else looks forward to. But can I ask you a question, Jim, regarding your experience with the different orb-like objects? Did you what was your feeling wise while you were observing it?
What do you want me to say? Like,
Well, specifically what I'm asking, because I know there was the second.
I know for a fact it wasn't one of ours. Like I said, our aircraft blink; they don't pulse.
Right.
And the pulsing object was a singular orb in the sky. That singular orb didn't have any distinctive markings. It was just this light in the sky that looked like a star that pulsated. And every time it got brighter and dimmer, there was no outline of anything else. It was just, it is what it was. It was a light in the sky that pulsated. Now, I've seen those different craft on 3 different occasions. Some people may call them spirits. I don't know what they are. As far as I'm concerned, they are a UAP. They are a UAP. But what they are, I don't know. I only for some craft. I don't think I'm not getting into. However, I tell you this: it's not one far.
Hold on, Jim. You're breaking. Your connection is breaking up a bit. Can you say something else? Jim, can you hear me?
What we like to say to the cat.
You sound very robotic right now.
Oh well, that's a shame.
Hold on. Did you maybe move a location or something? Jim, I can't. I know you're trying to speak, but it's all robotic right now. Like for some reason, it's not coming through.
Any good? No.
Oh,
nothing.
yes. No. It's good now. It's good now. I don't know what you did. Keep talking.
Oh goodness me! What exactly do you want me to say?
Okay, no. There you go. No, you're clear now. You know, you were sounding like a computer. So I guess you were out of range or something.
Welcome to the simulation. What do you want me to say?
Right. Well, the reason I was asking is I know the close proximity of the 2 red orbs that were over my house. The initially, my mind was trying to justify what I was looking at, and the way it made a sound, it was similar to a helicopter from a distance. And although I couldn't see the rest of the body, I wanted it to be a helicopter. I just kept trying to convince myself that it's a helicopter, and the closer and closer it got, there was initially just one, and then a second one, maybe like 50 feet apart, just came right on with, basically there was nothing that the sky was like a beautiful night sky with full moon. So if there was something like flying through, you could easily see it, but it
Helicopters are
just came
weird.
came out of nowhere. And what was interesting is that the second one came on, I immediately froze. It was that close to me.
Helicopters are weird.
Right.
It
But anyway,
was it,
but
it
anyway, it wasn't a helicopter. It was basically two red orbs, but my mind wanted it to be a helicopter until I basically couldn't continue lying to myself anymore. That's why I was asking if then,
uh
if you had similar experience too, to where it affected you
no,
physically.
no. It only affected me physically later in life when it's in the sense of deja vu. If you ever get deja vu, that is usually during a very hyper intensive moment in your life. It could either be from, say, a fight, it could either be from a breakup, and then you like what I mean by hyper intensive is the fact that like at that moment in time that a path has been chosen and you
Mm-hmm.
snap back to reality, whatever that means to anyone who's listening and to anyone who's out there. Maybe they've experienced it, maybe they haven't, maybe they will experience it. I don't quite know. But what I do know is that the back to the early point of helicopters.
Jimmy, I'm sorry, you're breaking up again.
Funny. No, okay, then I'll say thank you very much.
No, I can't. I cannot hear. I know you're trying to speak to me, but it's very, very robotic. Well, if you can maybe move back to the same spot and then continue from there. Okay, maybe disconnected now. Maybe Jim will come back on. Just wanted to address. I'm waiting for Jim to come back on, and then we can continue the conversation. Unless someone else, maybe Bradley or Brent, that would like to come on and speak to me. But to answer Kenny Moreno, it says no. You do not have to. You do not have to pay. Just simply download the app on your phone, which is called Telegram, or on the computer, whatever device you're using, and you should be able to, when you set it up, do a search for UFO Hub. And the link is also below this video, whether you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. It's below the video, and you should be able to click on it, and it'll take you directly to the group. Just simply join it and join the voice chat, and then you and I can speak there. But yeah, I would love to hear what you have to say, because that's the whole point of these open lines, is for anyone else to call in and speak to me. And of course, then in turn, share their story with everyone else that's watching live and will be watching for many weeks, months, and years to come. Okay, I guess Jim is probably still working something out for now, but let me see, then I'll catch up with you guys on here if there's any other questions that we can maybe address. Okay. Sometimes I'm trying to decide, I'm not 100% sure if the app I'm using is too slow or if I'm actually getting real life chat feedback. So I'm going to log in and read it directly off of YouTube. All right, so nope, doesn't seem like it was pretty much caught up with everyone else. All right. But yeah, if any of you have any questions or oh, Jim, are you back? Sounded like you muted yourself there for a second.
Go.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're clear now.
Oh, goodness me. Well, again, I apologize for the connection issues. I don't know why the hell that is happening, but
Oh, no
yeah.
problem. I just, I'm glad we're working it out, and I don't want you thinking it's me doing something. Everyone can hear the same thing I'm hearing. It's just very robotic. Maybe you're out of signal, or if you're using a Wi-Fi or something, or if you're using a cell tower.
I'm not using a satellite phone, not just yet, anyway.
Oh no, I meant like
no.
using the cell phone tower to connect instead of your local Wi-Fi, like your own
Oh,
internet.
right,
Yeah.
data. Yeah.
Right, data. Right.
Yeah. Well, I could be, but
Right.
we'll
You're
keep
clear
that
now.
under wraps.
I'm glad you worked it out.
So yeah, like there's nothing really much I can tell except for my experience and
Right.
how that correlates to others' experiences.
Well, I don't want to push
I'm
it
not trying to say
too right. I don't want to push it too far. It was can you maybe get into why you don't necessarily don't want to share some of the ET context?
Fear of the
Okay, got
MIB.
it.
To be
All right,
honest
that's
with you, fear,
understandable.
just fear.
Okay.
Fear, and that's the way it is. Like for me to get into contact with him in the first place, it came through meditation, and that I didn't actually know any form of like how to. Later in life, as of like a year ago, I know that there are specific hand guides you can try to do with meditation to get in contact with these beings.
Right.
But when I done it, I knew nothing about it. And if I could reverse time, I never would have. Because I saw what I saw and it was not for the better. So I'm a firm believer in UAPs. I'm a firm believer in the beyond. But if I could roll back time, I would never have done that.
It's not for the better in your own personal life, or what are you referring to specifically?
In my own personal life, I would never have done it because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Sure, you may know, but what good is knowing? What good
You mean
is
just the fact that you you wished you didn't?
Wish, that's a different subject.
Okay.
Wish is a different subject. I wish to know about it, and I know about it now. Do I wish that I took it back? No, of course not. But would I like to? Yes. Because it's not worth it. It's not worth knowing about it. It's not worth it. Because once you know about the things that are out there, in the sense of like they are here, they are being witnessed on people's phones, and you've got hundreds of thousands of people asking, what the hell are these things? Like what do you want? Like, you can't have someone just answer it for you. That's not the way it goes. You can only go by other individual experiences to try and figure out the puzzle. They're not just going to come down here and say, hey guys, we're going to come on to your MNBC Monday, 8 p.m. Tune in. That's not the way it works.
Right.
It's case by case individual experiences. And that's why I was saying earlier that it's like the whole UAP phenomenon is going on the television to inform the masses, okay, these things are here, but what are they exactly? They're not talking about that. They're just talking about they are here. What are they, so to speak? And then you get all the disinformation about what they are. Are they a breakaway civilization? Well, They damn well could be. They damn well could be. $3 trillion went missing on the 10th of September 2001. But that is a fact. But
Right.
it could be. It could be. Who knows? Who knows? And
Yeah,
that's my point.
you're talking about the Rumsfeld the day before he makes that announcement. The next day, 9/11 happens.
Yeah, of course I am.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Right.
I mean,
right.
where's Silverstein? He's been absent for the past 20 years. I'd love to know where he is. Or is it Goldstein? Can't remember. I think it's Silverstein. The owner of the Twin Towers. He put out a quite luxurious insurance policy and cashed out on that. And funnily enough, the FBI in 1996, according to leaked documents from WikiLeaks, apparently the FBI were training during the Clinton administration for a terrorist attack in the US that just so happened to involve the Pentagon and the World Trade Center. But that is
Right.
hearsay. That is hearsay. That is
Well, if you
not
do some research, it's not
factual.
hearsay. There is.
Of course
there
it's
is some
hearsay.
inf-
Of course it's
right.
hearsay because no one can search for it. No one can search for it. You go into Google, scrub. Go to WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks. Best
Because
option.
it was the FEMA initially that were scheduling it out, wasn't it?
Hmm?
I said that was FEMA initially that was scheduling that terrorist attack. Basically, they were practicing. They were saying they were like, oh, we're simulating this scenario, and then it just so happened, and then the exactly same thing they're practicing for happened the next day.
You're 100% correct. However, I don't know anything about FEMA being involved. I don't know anything
Oh,
about FEMA
right.
being
Are
involved.
you in the U.S. by any chance? Just wondering, because sometimes I am mentioning certain things, and people that are not in the U.S. they might not know.
I'm in Europe.
Okay. All right. Well, Jim, it was nice chatting with you. Let me, if you can hang tight, I want to get to Kenny. He had raised his hand. I want to get everyone a chance that wanted to speak. If if you're okay with that, if I don't know how much longer we'll keep going, but I'll be here for however long.
So you're
I
saying
can
this
take
is
it.
going to turn into a group session in which I answer questions from the audience?
No. I'm talking to Kenny.
Ah,
Right. The same way you had a chance to
Apologies.
platform. That's okay. The same way you have a chance to come and speak, I want to give also Kenny a chance. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. I guess he already left. Let me mute you, and Kenny, you are unmuted. If you unmute yourself, you should be able to speak to me.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I can hear you. Okay, where do I begin? What do you want to know? You know what? I'll just tell you. All right,
Okay.
straight up. There are certain things that our eyes, or basically our senses, our whole entire senses is completely warped. It's manipulated. I know it sounds crazy, but this is what I know. There are certain individuals who are working in the Air Force of the United States of America. They appear to be human, but they are not what they claim to be. Okay, I can describe them how they look like. Some of them look, Caucasian. Some of them look like they're, African American or Mexican. They can literally morph into whatever they desire. They have a thing that they do where they stick out their tongue, and their tongue will be black, like a snake.
Okay.
All right. I guess you call these people reptilians. And the thing is that their eyes, they have like a normal human being eyes look. It's like a spear or a fear, and they can change those eyelids, those eyeballs, those those things into like a lizard and like a snake, like a cat would do. You know how cats usually change their eyes from a solid sphere to a vertical
Right.
line. Okay, so they have they can do that. All right, and
Hold on, you're
they
talking about
I've
cat's eyes?
yes, you know how cat's eyes changes, right?
Well, I always knew that they are more like a vertical, and they're pretty much
Yeah,
vertical all the time. Were you saying they can actually adjust them? I didn't know that.
okay, but these things can do that. They can manipulate their pupils to be spheres into vertical lines, like a snake would be.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and these things, they have this stench, this smell that can literally warp your entire world. Like it's a phenomenon. We don't even know what we're truly eating. All right, we don't know what we're everything we see is a lie. They are some type of master manipulators. These things smell so bad that they literally smell as old, as far back as the dinosaurs, even older than the dinosaurs. That's how bad their stench is. If you ever get a whiff of it, it'll literally warp your entire mind. It's insane. Okay, and I saw
Kenny, just real quick,
a
I'm sorry.
large.
So before you continue, I must have missed it in the beginning. Are you speaking about something you know, or things you just
Yeah,
generally were
no,
learning about?
I know. I seen it. I worked at a convenience store for about 9.5 years, so I'm always seeing everybody needs to get gas. Everybody needs to get something,
Hmm.
and I've countered a variety of different creatures. Some that you might not even believe that are real, but they do exist. Some that you think that, oh, it's only in the movies, but it's some of these things. I'm only going to talk about this one specific thing because this one specific thing was literally working at the Air Force, and this thing what I saw was a large, massive, triangular ship, like very large. I want to say maybe 4 or 5 football fields. I'm estimating, and that was the length and the width. It's a triangle is perfect, so it's just as long as it was as its width, and the how I said the depth of it, maybe like a building, like a tower, like a building, like
Hmm.
this thing was hovering over what was it, Lackland Air Force Base, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And this thing was literally a massive ship, and it had no noise. I mean, no sign of any noise to like an engine. There was nothing. The fact is that there's a massive triangular ship, and these ships can disguise themselves as the sky. They can manipulate themselves to be a cloud or just the sky itself. I know this sounds crazy, but you know what? I ain't got no choice. I ain't got nothing else to lose. I ain't got nothing else to lose. I
No,
mean, I'm
no,
not
no, no.
afraid
I
to.
understand. I understand. So, were you saying you worked by the base, or you were on the base when this happened?
Let's just say that I was driving by the base.
Okay, I see.
Okay. Now let's just say that I have a gift that I could see things that. Well, I've 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 died when I was a child. And I came back. All right,
Hmm.
and I know this sounds biblical, but you know what? If you listen, then it might make sense. I'm not gonna get biblical. I'm just trying to tell you what I know so far. All right, okay. This thing, the the they're everywhere. You don't know who they are, what they are. The mind manipulations. I mean, we're we're being told a lie. All right, we're living in a world of lies, and I don't know who was going to believe me or who I could really talk to. I've been trying to get to MUFON. I've been trying to get to Third Phase Moon. I've been trying to reach anybody who would listen to me. Nobody wants to listen to me. Nobody wants to hear me. And I saw your platform. I figured, if I just give them details of what I know. Okay, here's I may have been experimented on too. I've gone to the doctors to get myself checked up. Not even the doctors would fill me up. He's my physician, and he didn't want to fill my body. I have something inside my chest. The last time I went to the doctor was when I was probably 10, and they said that they had found like an object underneath my chest plate. My chest is warped, and it wasn't never like that before. I was in Bandera school, and I woke up to get ready to go to school, and then I realized that my chest was warped. It wasn't like that before when I went to sleep, but when I woke up, it was warped. We went to the doctors. 10 doctors. When you hear 10 doctors going into your room, and they took blood work, and they took CAT scans, they did everything, and then when 10 doctors come to your room and they say that there's an object underneath your chest plate, the size of a sphere, and it's like the size of a fist underneath my chest plate, and they don't know what it is. They said it was tumor or cancer, or a blood clog. It was mostly a tumor or a blood clog, one of those two. Now I'm 35 years old. I'm in no pain, and I still have this warped chest, and the thing is, I heal quickly. I like they say I had a high fast metabolism. All right, all right. So I heal very quickly for some reason, and I'm also able to do minor healing. Like, it's like I could heal. How long? Have you ever had a knot in your head, like someone over hit you over the head and you got a bump?
Right.
Okay, how long does that usually take to go away?
About a week and a half, possibly.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it takes that long. I know, but I was able to heal an individual, and it went away like in less than seconds. I freaked out when I was doing this, but when I did, I continued to do it because I had to get the thing out of the way. So I did, and it happened. Okay, so I'm able to heal minor things, not big things. I'm able to heal quickly. I'm able to see things that no one else is capable of seeing. Look at, there are. What if I said wacky? You know what those wacky inflatable balloon things? You ever heard of them? The ones you see at the car dealership.
Yeah. I know
What
what
if
you're
I
talking
told
about.
you those things? Okay, what if I told you those things were actually real? You wouldn't believe it, right? I wouldn't believe it. But these things, these entities, whatever these things are, they're revealing themselves to me for some reason, and I don't know why. And I've witnessed people who literally
Just
can
real quick,
put
just to clarify,
diamonds.
you're using that example to say, if you were asking me, you're not saying those things are revealing themselves to be real. You just use it as an example. Am I correct?
No, they're real. I'm just giving you brief informations of what I've been encountering with. There are alien people. There are snake-like people. There are pig-like people. There are things that I couldn't even begin to describe, but they look normal. They act like normal people. They could be your neighbors. They could be your brothers, your sisters. They can be anyone because they can manipulate everything.
Right. You mean our perception, what we can see? Is that what you're referring to? I'm just trying not to put.
Yeah, you're right. Our deception of what we see, what we feel,
Okay.
our entire senses is a lie. I mean, we were taught what we grew up in, what we grew up in. We only know what they taught us to know. They, like, I was able to taste certain foods that had eaten a long time. And when I had this new taste bud, I started tasting the things like soda and chips. It was not what it appeared to be. Okay, have you heard of the Mandela effect?
Yes.
Okay, what Mandela effect affected you? If you have been affected by it, not everyone has.
No, I mean, I was affected by the fact that it existed because, when people started talking about that they remembered certain past events differently, certain, silly things like phrases that we all grew up as children with on TV, but they said it differently. The most famous one is that Star Wars one where they say, like in Star Wars, he never actually says, Luke, I am your father. He just says, Luke, I am your father, or something like that. And I may be butchering it, but it's a different saying. And so the way we always thought he said it, it's not what actually occurred. And so some people
What do you
contribute that to
remember?
I remember the Luke, I am your father.
Okay, that's what I remember too. Okay,
Right.
do you know anything about astronomy?
Oh, it's a huge subject. I mean, if you give me just a little idea of what you're referring to, I could maybe say yay or nay.
Okay, um, where do you remember the Earth being located at in the Milky Way?
On the outer rims.
Have you checked lately to see where Google or the internet will tell you where the Earth is located at?
No, are you saying that it's not?
They're saying that the Earth is located inside the Milky Way. Now, here's the funny thing: the funny picture is, I was nowhere near the Milky Way. We were never near the Milky Way. We sent probes into the Milky Way to see if there were Earth-like planets. We took pictures of the Milky Way. Okay, it's like say you want to take a picture of the Eiffel Tower, right? You want
Right.
to get back so far back so that you get a good picture of it, right? The whole deal, right? So
Right.
that's how far back our planet was from the Milky Way. We were so far back that we were able to just take a whole picture of the Milky Way. We were never in it, nor were we beside it. Have you
And
gone
just real quick,
outside
how do
and looked?
you was this information was conveyed to you in one way or another?
Okay, let's just say like this. I'm I'm uh I'm learning impaired, right? But I'm not I'm like not completely mentally challenged. Okay. I just like for me, would you guys take seconds to learn and figure out, right? It takes me years to go over it and study it and reconfirm and we go at it again and again until I finally figure out, okay, this is the answer. You know
Right.
what I mean? So I love geography. I love astronomy. I was never good with reading or spelling. I have a sixth grade level of reading, if that makes any sense. But I'm able to read, all right? I'm able to learn. I'm able to remember like history because let's face it, if you're not good with math, if you're not good with science, or if you're not good with reading, you have to adapt your ability to succeed in life, like dancing, singing, memorization of geography or astronomy, stuff like that that got me interested. And I love Star Wars. And yes, I remember him saying, Luke, I am your father. And the way he said it was more passionate, more emotion. And when you hear it now, it just seems emptiness. It feels nothing. You feel nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay. And the reason why I remember these things, because I lived a very traumatic life. And people who've been traumatized are always going to remember how things went, no matter what. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So the thing is, have you looked at the geography of the Earth? I mean, what I remember is Cuba was never inside the Gulf of Mexico. It was out in the outskirts. But if you look at it, you can see that Cuba is like the tip is in the Gulf of Mexico. And it makes you really think why JFK was worried about Cuba launching missiles to the United States, because they were a lot closer than they appear.
Right. Right. So you're saying you
Now,
do remember two different geographical locations of Cuba?
I remember my geographic. I am
Okay.
looking. I have to relearn everything, because everything that they put on this online or whatever, they're saying it wrong. It's
Right.
all wrong. The graphics. Have you looked at the United States lately? It looked like we shrunk a little bit. Canada looks like it's gotten more of the Great Lakes than we do. I remember us having the Great Lakes. The lakes were ours. We never shared it with Canada. Texas has gotten a lot bigger, and there's no explanation. We had an outage. I don't know if you heard about it. Texas had a winter storm, and we had an outage, right?
Mhm.
And you're gonna ask yourself, why do we have an outage? The state was only prepared to handle what it had originally, but because of this Mandela effect, we've gained more land. Now, by having more land and not having enough equipment to prepare to cover the land mass, you're gonna have an outage, of course. Now, these things are everywhere, right? They are in the military. They are in
Well, you're
the Air
certainly going to
Force.
make me, you talking, just certainly is going to make me, just because of my own interest, want to look that up and see what is it that I remember last, and if it's still the same, just to double check. So thanks for that.
Okay. Have you ever had Fruit of the Looms, the underwears or clothing?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember it having a cornucopia or not having a cornucopia? It's like a basket.
No, I know. I'm just trying to. I don't know actually. I never really paid that much close attention to it. I know of the brand, but it's not something that I can specifically say if it was one way this time and different way this, another time. So I can't. I'm not a good example to be used for
Okay.
that.
So let me tell you how I know for sure.
Okay.
We're not a very rich people, or you ever heard of hand-me-downs?
Yeah, that's how I grew up. Just kidding. I was
Okay,
the
yeah,
oldest. My brother grew up on that.
Well, you're close to him or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So basically, I had a whole lot of hand-me-downs, including the drawers. Okay, and I remember the cornucopia. I remember it because it had a basket. You go up there, right, and you see that they will tell you that it's never had a cornucopia. That they never put that in there. It was always just the fruit. Okay, I used to work at a gas, and I keep saying this because as a clerk, as a CSR, I'm always front facing and FIFO, first in, first out, right? So how do you remember a Coca-Cola symbol look like? Can you describe the Coca-Cola, the logo?
Well, it would be the Coca-Cola with that little swish going through the center. Kind of like a design, like a little ribbon going through the center of it, if I remember correctly.
Okay, it's kind of like a line, like a horizontal line that's in the middle. Is that what you're talking about?
Right.
I don't know too much about. Like I said, I was bad in English, but that's what I'm talking about. If you look at it, it looks like it's French now. It has like a little line going not vertical or horizontal. It's like a slash, and it looks like French. It looks like it says Coca-Cola. Okay, the Kit Kat.
Right.
How do you remember
Hold
Kit
on
Kat?
one quick second. Let me see. Browser. Go ahead. Say something else, please.
Okay, so look.
Hold on
Kit
one
Kat.
quick second. Can you hold on one second? What I'm doing, I'm switching over to my browser, but I want to make sure that they can all still hear you while I'm showing the graphics. I'm just sit tight, please. If you guys can confirm real quick, can you still hear Kenny? If I can just get a confirmation in the chat, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, Kenny, you were saying something, because I'm pulling up the image now to see, because it made me curious. Okay, yes, they can still hear you. I'm sorry, go ahead, continue. So you're saying okay, I'm looking at it right now, so it's just a line. Yeah, like a little line in the middle.
Yeah, but they will swear that they will say it was never been like that. Okay, you ever seen the movie Scary Movie?
The
Funny
the
comedy
original.
movie?
Oh yes.
The original. Yeah, the original.
Yes, it's been a while.
Okay, there was this line that was there that was a pardon of the original movie of The Sixth Sense. Okay, instead of him saying I see dead people, right?
Mhm.
It was the original line was I see white people.
Mhm.
All right, but if you look at it again, it will say, "I see dead people." Where's the joke at? Where's the pardon? The funny? What's the pun at? You know what I mean? There.
Right.
Okay, and okay, look, there. I will say that there is something trying to communicate with me, but I don't know who or what it is. Okay, in my world, I know this is gonna sound unbelievable, but the moon in my world actually spins. But in this world, the moon doesn't spin. It's there. It's straight. It's impossible. It's impossible because if the world was created by the Big Bang, right? Everything out there should be constantly moving because there's nothing out there to stop it. It's like one of those fidget spinners. You know, the Big Bang started when somebody started the spinner,
Right.
and there's nothing there that's gonna stop it. But for something to stop it means that there's some type of entity out there that is able to hold the moon at place.
Well, that's
Okay,
interesting. Yeah, no, I'm sure I don't know what everyone else would say on chat, but I've always known it as not spinning, personally.
yeah,
I don't, I
I
don't know
know, I
that that
know.
has changed.
But if you look, if you've ever been out of the country, there's so much stars, so many stars that I can't even locate the North Star. That's how that's how bad I am. I'm in this because I'm in a world that is not my own, and it's hard to live in this world because I'm trying to re-educate myself on how to function in this society. And the sun is a lot closer. The stars are a lot closer. The moon seems to be a lot closer. And it's only because we're inside the Milky Way. And
Right.
nobody is talking about the Mandela effect. But if there was ever a hostile takeover, this would be it. People should be afraid because someone who's able to change history. World War II, have you looked up that? If you look up World War II, you're gonna notice a lot of strange changes that occurred, and it's scary because if anyone were to change the past, would create a butterfly effect. Like maybe 9/11 wouldn't have happened if Germany didn't or Japan didn't send like balloons that exploded. You know what I mean? Look it up. I'm telling you. Okay. What else?
Was there something specific from World War II? Because I know, I mean, with my, because only, I mean, obviously, besides
Everybody.
the history, because I know my grandfather, my mom's dad, he was in one of the concentration camps, and when he was let go, he had to basically walk back from wherever he was at back to Bosnia. So I still have that memory, unless something has changed, and I wouldn't remember that I remember that, unless I'm
Well,
thinking,
yes, there is. Like everybody knows about Pearl Harbor, right? We were attacked, and that's how we began the war, right?
right,
But if you look it up, there you're gonna see that it wasn't just Pearl Harbor that we were attacked. That they had sent like those there's air balloons or something like that, and that they were bombing us from probably from California, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I have to go look at it again, but if you look it up, you'll notice that you will notice that. All right, and look, I know everything that I'm saying is insane, but
well, no, I
it's
mean, I'm glad. I mean, this is the exact channel for you to be sharing your story. I mean, it's the point here is
that's
that you have an experience that maybe some might be able to relate to it, maybe some not, but at least you had the opportunity to do that. Don't be
okay.
afraid that somebody's going to be
Now,
ridiculing for it. I mean, you
now,
make some interesting points. I mean, it's if the very least, it's always entertaining, even with anything I have to say to people. Only when they come across information that they're faced with, that's something that they're gonna realize they're gonna have to deal with. But so it's always
okay,
better to just have all this information in the back of their head to use it when they need it.
okay. So, like I was saying, like I have this thing in my chest, right? Now, this thing it feeds off of energy. All right, like I don't know what it is I'm up against, but I feed off their hate. I feed off the positive. I mean, okay, like there is a darkness that can blanket the whole world in pure darkness, right? And everyone would think, oh, just because it's dark, it has no energy, right? But this thing is energy. I mean, people will talk about the sun as it being the light and the source and the energy, but there's something out there. I don't know what it is. They call it the planet Naboo. They call it Planet X. They call it, whatever. I like to call it the anti-god, or the black sun. And
Mm-hmm.
this thing exists. It's revealed itself to me multiple times. I've taken pictures of it, and people would say, "Oh, it's just the camera and all this." But I mean, I'm telling you, there's something out there, and it's been revealing stuff to me that I don't want to know. Like, I don't want to know any of this. I just
Well,
wanted to
right.
have a normal life.
Right, Kenny. I
So
think
like,
I know what you're talking about, because I can't speak to everything you mentioned, but one of the things that I always tell people about when it comes to contact in general too, there's a certain level of your perception that gets changed to where you are now looking at things differently, and that on a mass scale can mess with people, because it's one thing for, let's say, you to go through what you're going through, for me to have gone through what I did, and other individuals, while the rest of society is still functioning just right, or just fine, I mean. But if all of a sudden everyone was kind of going through this, like, wow, there's something going on with our reality, and being closer and closer in contact with these different beings, would open that up more. It would start messing with people worldwide, and so what you're referring to, I've been familiar with the feelings and the ways of looking at things, exactly what you're talking about. Now, I can't confirm any of the stuff regarding the Mandela effect, all this other stuff. It seems interesting that I want to look up, but I just wanted to confirm that once there's this, I don't know what it is. It's I guess you can call it some kind of awakening, to where all of a sudden
okay,
you are more aware of different things happening than others.
are you aware of Nikola Tesla?
I know of him, yes.
Okay,
He was
he
born around my neck
he
of the
can,
woods.
Nikola Tesla can testify to what I've been through. He got electrocuted when he was discovering electricity. I died by electricity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I put, okay, like, here's how it happened. I was playing in my sister's room, and I'm playing with my toys, and like at the corner of my eye, something appears, like a light, appears, and I looked at it, and I saw this object. It's metal. It looks like it's copper. It's flat. It's flexible. I didn't know what it was, but I can only describe it as copper looking. And I kept on telling myself, is it my dad's tools? Where did it come from? How did it get there? And then finally something was saying, no, stick it into the socket. And so, I did, because I didn't know any better. All right. I was probably like 4, maybe 5. And then something was telling me, okay, now bend it and put the other one in. And I was like, then I was telling myself, okay, maybe this is a bad idea. This is going to hurt. And then something was telling me, well, you're not going to get hurt. And you know what? He was right about the first time when I put the metal in. And I mean, why wouldn't he be right the second time? So I bent it and I put it in. And as soon as I put the metal in, like that, I was here, I was there, I was everywhere. I was in the past, the future, the present. I was I was in the heavens, I was in hell. I'm only describing it the way as I can describe it. There's purgatory, there's a pit of darkness. It's all real. This thing does exist. There is a God, and he told me what was going to happen to this world. But the thing is, he told me about my world, not the world that I'm in now. I mean, he told me that the world was going to suffer a fate worse than hell. And if you look around, it is. Because if you're in hell, all you're doing is burning, all right? You're burning, and you know what the consequences is. But in this place, you got to pay bills. You got to pay light, water, electricity. You got to pay rent. You got to pay hospital bills. You got to pay for your vehicles. You got to, these bills that'll never end, son. Like, it'll never end. And we will never have time to have fun because everyone's too busy working. Like I was too busy working. By the time I realized that major changes were happening, it was too late. I was like, I finally figured out that, whoa, I knew that there was something off. Like, but I just didn't want to believe it because I just, it's like the Matrix. You break out of the Matrix and then you find out that maybe nothing is what it was like. And the thing is that I'm living in this world And there are people, I don't know if, I don't believe in telekinesis or mind readers, but there are things that no. I mean, like I said, I've been speaking to this entity. I don't know what it is. Is it an angel? Is it God? Is it an alien? I don't know. I don't know. It hasn't revealed itself to me. But like, I would put on the, like, I'm watching a movie on TV and I mute it, right? And I'm listening to the closed caption, right? And I'm like, I've seen this episode like 100 different times. I love it. And it's not saying what it's supposed to be saying. Instead, it's telling me about my day and what I've been doing. And I'm like, wow, I love Lucy, and I don't remember her ever saying this. And it's not only that, it can change the books, like magazines. Like when I'm reading an article, like a Game Informer, and I'm reading this article, and it's practically trying to speak to me, or like it goes like this. I would speak to individuals, right? And sometimes it feels like I'm not talking to the individual that's in front of me. I'm talking through the individual, as if someone is using that individual to talk to me. And I know this because I'm playing my harmonica, and I usually play it to the moon, right? And when I was playing it to the moon, this lady who was a friend of ours, and she started saying like, "Oh, look, he's singing a song to me." And I was like, "I'm not singing this. I'm not playing the harmonica for you, lady. I'm playing it for the moon." And then like as I go back over it, like because I like to go over things like what I've done and all this, and I realized maybe it wasn't her. Maybe it was this entity that is capable of, manipulating people. It's insane, but it's true.
Well, honestly, based on my personal experience, and again, I'm not devaluing what you had experienced. All I can speak about that was when I had a certain experience to where, long story short, it made me understand that whenever I was interacting with these at this one particular scenario with individuals, like I was talking to their higher self, and it seemed like it wasn't their direct body, their direct mind that I was interacting with. It was the higher being that they are, that I was and conversing and sharing stories with, and so I wonder if you could maybe think about if you think it was something similar to that, because I mean, it could be something what you specifically described, that's exactly what's happening, just from my personal experience, sounding similar, that's as close that I can relate to what you're talking about.
Are you a religious person, or do you know anything about the Bible? Like,
I
are you
mean,
familiar with
I know
the
of the
Bible?
Bible, I know certain passages, but not
Oh,
in the in
I'm
this.
gonna give you first. How do you remember this? Do you remember and the lion shall lay with the lamb, or the wolf shall lay with the lamb? Which one do you remember?
That I wouldn't know, I'm sorry.
Okay, because I'm very religious. I've gone to Bible study and all that, but I remember it saying, "And the lion shall lay with the lamb," all right, as its protector, But if you read the Bible, it says the wolf shall lay with the lamb. But if that doesn't sound right, because the wolf are usually the ones that will kill the lambs. And I know the lion doesn't make any sense too, but if you think about it, the lion would definitely beat up a wolf. I mean,
Right.
theoretically, but that's what I
Right.
remember.
Yeah.
Like,
I wish I could speak to that, but I don't. I'm not too familiar with that specific phrase. Um,
oh, okay, what else can I say before? Um, okay, I've been trying to get help from anybody who would, help me. Like I said, I tried to contact Third Phase Moon. They haven't called me back yet. I don't blame them because, come on, everything that I sent them, like, it seems ridiculous. But I've captured a footage of the moon. Now, it's not what people think it is. It's like a bright star that's like the sun, but there's definitely activities happening in the moon. And I know people would say, "Oh, it's the camera flare and all this," but I'm telling you, it
you're
is
talking
what it
about
is.
you were talking about capturing on the moon itself. You're not talking about inside the moon, or how do you refer it to? What do you
No, no,
mean by
I'm talking about.
when you say in the
I'm,
moon?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean in the moon. I'm talking about, okay, like I'm recording the moon,
Oh,
recording the
got it.
moon.
Okay, all right.
Okay, but the moon, like I said, is a lie. I mean, it's like a spear of I can see like an aura or an energy, or like it's like the sun. And yes, there is a black sun out there. It's as big as the sun, and it is it's revealed itself to me multiple times, and I took pictures of it and I sent it to Third Phase Moon, and I mean, whether they believe it or not, I have a YouTube channel, and I just posted it up not too recently. So I don't know, you be the judge. I mean, I don't like I'm not afraid of these things. I am not afraid of
Well, if you
Men in
give your
Black
name, if you
or
give your YouTube name out, then people could possibly go and check it out for themselves.
it's if you want to look up my YouTube channel, just look up Kenny Moreno, KENNYMORENO. Now, look, like I said, like, can a kid survive 120 volts of pure electricity at age 4 or 5? No, right? Impossible, right? Well, but yet I've
Right.
survived it.
Right.
And
No, I mean, it's a
I
good
tell-
question. I don't. It's a. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to think about it because I've been zapped before, just working on this building, and if you
difference
feel
between a
it, but
paper and
yeah, I
electricity. And trust me, there's a difference.
right.
Okay, now look, like I said, these entities. They can literally manipulate your body to make your heart go faster, or they can raise your temperature. It's not as if someone has a remote to each and every one of us and can hit these buttons. It's insane.
Right. Kenny, I'm
have
sorry.
you heard about astral projection? Have you heard of it?
I have. I mean, you're switching over too many subjects. Let me ask you something about it real quick here.
I'm trying to get everything out as much as I can.
Right. I want to ask you just something real quick regarding the thing you said that's in your chest. Are you saying that a lot of the healing that's happening a lot quicker that you mentioned, is that happening because of you said your near death experience when you were younger, or because of the thing in your chest?
See, that's the thing. Like, I felt like my entire life I've been experimented on by something. Like, I remember coming home, drunk, but not too drunk, enough to go to bed and lay down and fall asleep. I woke up immediately because I felt as if someone had operated on my left knee, and I have scars there. Right? I have scars, and I like I said, I'm not very rich, and I can't go to the doctors. Okay, so there's no reason for me to have scars on my left knee, right, and on my back. There's a scar like right where the torso is that connects to the spine. I mean, these are all signs of alien abductees. If you study about alien abductees, these are all signs that individuals who are either operated by something and they have scars that they cannot explain how they got there. And I'm not a violent man. I don't get into fights, and I can't afford to go to the doctor, so I can't afford to get surgery. And I know I'm talking about all these subjects, but like I said, I have to get everything out as much as I know, because something is trying to change history, and the more they change my reality, and the more they change my reality, the more think about it, the Mandela effect could be the reason why people have Alzheimer's or short-term memory or other symptoms like that, because they've been manipulating everything. I don't know who it is or who's doing it, but the government, they have no control. No one has control. These things, whatever these things are, they run the entire world. They control everything. They manipulate everything. They have us fighting each other, whites against blacks, Mexicans against whites, gays against straights. I mean, they have us going left and right, and I'm the only one who's like totally cleared everything out of the table, and I'm looking back at the puzzle. I'm seeing the bigger picture.
Well, I can't. Yeah, right. I can't.
Ever control? The pharaohs, did they ever lose control? Because the more and more I think about it, I see, if you look around, these houses are built like pyramids. And then you see all these poles, which were like obelisks or monoliths, and they're everywhere. If you look at society, it felt like the Egyptians, either the Egyptians are still in control, the pharaohs are still in control, or we stole technology. That's like, people would say, oh, it's UFO, but it's old technology. Everything we see about UFOs and all of that is old technology. It's old technology. It's been around since the pharaohs, even longer before them. And these, I mean, if you look at the Aztecs and the Incas and everything that we've learned from these things, and the I guess you can say they use this technology. Even Nazis were worshiping this black sun. Even the pharaohs were worshiping this black sun. I mean, someone is giving these people information. Someone is giving me information.
Well, Kenny, I
And
can't.
I don't,
Yeah, I certainly don't know if it is. I'm. I can't speak 100. Excuse me. I can't speak 100% on whether or not there is some kind of hidden hand controlling different things. But I can, and I'm sure everyone else can contest to this, that it just seems like the past 2 years has been almost like somebody switched a script on, and all the media and everyone just kind of going according to a script, and that's very obvious, been obvious to me. But that's all I can really speak on regarding that. I mean,
let me
yes,
tell you. Okay. How long has AIDS been around? How long has cancer been around? Very long time, right?
yeah,
Okay. Now, imagine this COVID-19. A new virus appears out of nowhere, right? A new strain of virus that comes out, right? And within a matter of a year or less within a year, there's a vaccine for it? Are you telling me that they found a cure for a new virus that's appeared out of nowhere, and and there's a cure for it? And then, but there's no cure for AIDS or cancer? Doesn't that seem a little weird? That, I mean,
yeah. Well,
personally,
I don't know which
I,
information
I don't,
you're referring to. I know they were saying you can still get the virus even after you've been vaccinated.
yeah, and spread
That's the
it.
last
I know,
information.
but I don't want to get too much into it. I'm not gonna talk too much into it because it is a touchy subject to people. But look, get the shot, don't get the shot. I really don't care because it doesn't really matter. I mean, none of this. It's like one big. It was like, have you ever seen Toy Story? You remember Buzz Lightyear when he finally realized that he's a toy and that he can't even fly out the window, and that he's having tea with Mrs. Crumpet and Tisbit.
Right.
That's who I feel like right now. I feel
Hmm.
like Buzz Lightyear, who believed himself to be a space soldier, but only to realize that my whole entire life is complete lie, and everyone is believing them. They're spoon feeding us this information, and it's scary because there are people like me, but not quite like me, because I believe it was in the thousands. There are thousands of individuals who are experiencing this Mandela effect, but
Right.
not everyone is from the same planet. Some people will say, oh, they were in the Milky Way, or some people will say they are out the Milky Way. I'm like not even near the Milky Way, but it's like as if someone has gathered all of us into this planet. Um, are you a Marvel's fan? Are you a big Marvel's fan? Do you know an
Um.
individual named
Yeah.
the
Well,
Beyonder?
I used to like it, but then with the recent political things happening, I just kind of just fully disconnected from it.
Okay, so look, I'm only speaking about the Beyonder because the Beyonder was able to gather mass lands and put them together and make one world out of it, right? And then he tells the Avengers, well, the Avengers wants to know his name, and so he says, what's your name? And the Beyonder's like, I am from a place from beyond. And then like, I'm sorry, you got a shorter name than that? Like, I am from a place far from beyond. And then you know what? We're just gonna call you Beyonder. So it's a joke. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel like I am from a
Hmm.
place from
Right.
beyond.
Well,
And
Kenny, I'm certainly, I want to cut it short because I want to finish up the show here pretty soon. But I certainly do
I'm sorry.
appreciate you logging in. I know you were in the chat hoping to connect earlier, and I'm
Yeah,
sorry it wasn't. I try to always make it clear that people can always download the Telegram app and simply join
like
the voice chat like you did.
I'm not that, like I said, I'm not that very bright. Like I'm telling you, something is helping
Oh,
me
you worked
because
it out within minutes, seemingly. So
all
don't
right,
be so hard
you
on
know,
yourself.
I know I'm actually like I'm terrible with technology. I like if you see the videos that is on my YouTube channel, look it up, Kenny Moreno, and just look at the video. All right, I don't know how to manipulate I don't know how to do any of that. I point and I shoot and I record. And
And the
there's
channel
pictures.
name
You
is
go to my
spelled
Facebook.
right. I have right now. It's
Go to
displaying the Telegram on the screen. So if your name is spelled the same way, then they can just take that name and search it on YouTube.
Yeah, go to Facebook, go to my Instagram. It's basically my name the way it is. I am not afraid to speak out and tell the truth. I'm not afraid to die because I'm telling you, if they kill me, right? If they find a way to kill me, but trust me, there's been many times where I've had near death experience. I got shot at, stabbed at, I got electrocuted, I choked on a lifesaver. I mean, like every time all this stuff has happened, I've kept coming back. You know, it's like
Right.
that movie. It's like that South Park. Who killed Kenny? You bastards! And
Well,
so that's
honestly, Kenny,
me.
just live your life the way you want to live it, and don't be too
Oh
afraid
yeah,
about
for
things.
real.
Because if I was, too afraid about speaking about some things that I speak about, I mean, I would never get anything done. I mean, you only have one life to live, and might as well live it to the fullest.
Like you remember that last guy who was speaking earlier? I don't remember his name, but
Jim.
like he was kind of speaking in tongues, like a bullet to the head and stuff like that. I mean, that sounded kind of cryptic to me, but I didn't care. You know, like I'm not afraid. And if anyone wants to know the truth, contact me, Facebook me, message me, or this new thing, talk to me, and I'll tell you as much as I can, and I'll try to give out as much information as I can because I'm not like afraid of this thing, and I don't care. I want people to know the truth.
Right.
Thank you.
No, well, Kenny, thank you very much. I really appreciate you calling in and sharing your story. And I'm glad you were able to connect. Like you've seen with Kenny, he just within minutes he was able to, I guess, download it, join the group, and then of course join the voice chat to share his story with me online. Well, we're about a little over 2 hours into it, so I want to make it quit. I'm sorry that I can't stick around for much longer, but this Friday I'm hoping to have a guest. We're trying to figure out some technical difficulties on his end. It would be Kiwani Lipsaritis to talk about the interdimensionality of Sasquatch. And so I'm basically gonna let me switch that over. I'm trying to tomorrow. We'll try to make it work to see if we can get a connection because he's using a satellite because he's kind of somewhere deep in the woods and sometimes the connection is not that great. Anyway, we'll hopefully work it out tomorrow. Then I'll have him as a guest on Friday. If not, I'll see if I can have someone else jump in last minute. But it would be on Friday, 7 p.m. Also streaming like we've been tonight on YouTube and now on Facebook and Twitch. So I want to thank all of you that have joined me today. I know it's been a while, and it will be usually the same scheduling on Wednesday 7 p.m. open lines, Friday 7 p.m. Usually a guest. And now that I have the ability and have worked it out, you should be able to also then log in on Telegram. And then when it's time to ask the guests some questions, you can ask the guests yourself. You simply get on Telegram, raise your hand, and I know that you're in the queue. And when it's time for that, I'll open it up and have you ask the guest directly. I'm getting too tired. So anyway, I want to thank you all again very much. I really appreciate it. And thank you all also very much for the well wishes for Adeline, the youngest member in addition to the family. So yeah, I should be back to the scheduling that I just mentioned. And I see you guys next time.